Now, another thing that haunts many entrepreneurs that even extends outside the business realm is the fear of the unknown, the fear of making mistakes, ultimately, the fear of failure. It's like a ball and chain, right? Keeping you locked into your comfort zone, afraid to break free and explore into uncharted territories. I like to say it's like having a hot air balloon and you're afraid of it popping if you go too high. So you always keep it anchored to the ground.
So we've all been there, feeling stuck in a rut, unmotivated, and just not knowing how to get out of it. But what if I told you just one simple act can seemingly change everything? Something that may seem small and inconsequential can have the biggest impact on your life. Because being stuck dampens any chance to learn, to explore, and feel what's genuine versus imagined futures as a citizen of this world. So, do you think that just one small thing can help you overcome your stagnant inertia and keep some forward momentum for you and create that forward momentum? Can that one thing at the same time start you on that moving forward in your life, which then creates a sense of control and you feel like you have mastery again, boosting your mood because you just feel really good that you finally took an action? Wouldn't that be nice? So what can you do? Well, you've taken the first step. You're here with us, and maybe, just maybe, it could lead you to a healthier lifestyle, a happier mindset, or even new adventure. And regardless of anything, you can break free of the stuckness. I'm not sure if that's a word, but we're going to use it. We just invented one. It can break you free of that stuckness and start towards a path of positive momentum. And hey, we really want to thank everybody for joining us today. And as you come into the stream, please go ahead and tell us in the comments where you're listening from, because as you know, we love to hear from our local and our global community. So in today's stream, we're at episode, Gary, we're at 122, man. This is crazy. I said, we call it From Stuck to Unstoppable, how to align the path to your business vision. And we will continue to open your mind and stretch the idea of what is actually possible. Stuckness is sneaky. It creeps into your life and erodes the momentum from the inside. It stagnates you, it limits you, it scares you. And today we're going to talk about moving from feeling stuck to the sensation of absolute unstoppable. We're going to start by first defining what stuck means to you. Firstly, how it feels to you. In most instances, it's not a very good feeling. It's like living a life while walking through mud. Each step comes with that resistance and sometimes slowing you down, sometimes stopping you in your tracks. And then sometimes that mud turns into quicksand and just pulls you down. And this is a result of not choosing your current path or hitting a barrier that could have slowed you down, but instead stopped you in your tracks. And sometimes it's not one big barrier, but rather the onslaught of small, inconsequential ones hitting you over and over and over again. And this cascading effect drains you both mentally and physically. Slowly, your excitement diminishes. Your passion erodes like a sandcastle on the beach. And even your optimism fades and you lose sight of your vision. Coming home was once your refuge, and now it adds to the overwhelm and the despair. Is this sounding familiar? If it is, drop a sad emoji in the comments. Let me know if anybody's relating to this. So if this is where you are right now in your life, or your business, or both, it paints a bleak reality, one you didn't think you designed, but you did. And you are disenchanted. You're gonna want to stick around to explore what could completely blow open portals of reality and expand your ability to become unstoppable. And if it's your first time with us, please type into the comments #first-time. And Gary and I and all the other members will greet you with warm virtual hugs after the show. And if you're a regular, type in #getwired. That's our new word for the month. Get wired. And if you are catching the replay, of course, #replay so we can get notifications. And in case you didn't know it, we also have 2 private Facebook groups for those who are serious about truly mastering the skills of creating empowered realities in their business life and in your personal life. Each of those communities have over 9,000 members. And you're welcome to join for exclusive content and online events. One is called Expanding Beyond Business Mastery, and the other is Evolving Reality Within the Infinity Matrix. And we'll drop the links in the comments for you to check them out. Each of them require you to fill out some member entry questions. Be sure to do that, otherwise the system just kind of pops you out. So, and make sure you answer all 3 of the easy questions. This isn't rocket science. And so you can join us and get that exclusive group only content. So you're going to want to join one or both. Because the Beyond Business Mastery is, of course, that it focuses more on business, growing your business ideas, not to mention our virtual roundtable, which is coming up as well. So make sure you jump on there. And again, you may or may not have heard about our virtual roundtable. We've got one starting today, right after the stream. But if you're not registered, just drop a #VRT in the comments and we'll send you details for the next one.
So welcome everybody. The VRT is going to be great. If you're not a part of that, it's something you're going to want to look into, and definitely come and join us on those events. So thanks for spending the time with us. This is a sensitive topic today. We thought it was important to still cover it and bring it to light. And the reason we say it's sensitive is because it implies that you're stuck, right? And most entrepreneurs are either too optimistic or have too much pride to admit it if they were. Right. And so just even showing up to something like this, it's like you've succumbed to it, and you've thrown in the towel, so to speak, to admit it. But you know what? The hard truth is that you may be stuck and you don't even know it, because you've been conditioned to act like you are impenetrable. Right. And after all, what if your competitors saw your vulnerabilities? Like, oh no, what would happen then? Right. Or worse yet, what if your clients and customers knew about the struggles that you dealt with on a day-to-day or sometimes hourly basis? Right. But the fact that you made it here today, right, shows a strength that many entrepreneurs don't have. Right? It's really not really 100% shocking to us that that this is such a low attendance for this particular stream, because only 10% of businesses survive in their first year. That means only 10% will actually do what needs to be done. And that's you showing up right here, looking at what the problems are, looking at what the challenges are, looking for solutions, right? That is the strength to look deeper into yourself, to be vulnerable, even if it's just with yourself right now. Because as you're watching, nobody else knows you're watching but you. But even those people that are caught up in whether it's ego or whether it's just old conditioning stuff, right? Just them viewing in scares them. because at some level they have to admit that things aren't as rosy and colorful and rainbows and or unicorns as they like to say that it is. All right. So the to really be vulnerable, even with just with yourself, and to understand more about what is or has been preventing you from being further ahead on the path to your ultimate vision. If you haven't already realized it, being an entrepreneur is a deeply spiritual path that puts you on a line of growth and evolution much more than anyone ever expects. So start by patting yourself on the back for being brave enough to take this journey. And let's shed some light on some of those things that might be keeping you stuck at the level of success that you're currently experiencing right now, no matter where that is. Okay? Remember, it's okay. We are just as susceptible to this as well. Ross and I are always working on it with each other and with our coaches to dig deeper into these truths for ourselves as well. So we understand how sometimes we got to swallow that pill, right? Sometimes we got to put the ego aside. Sometimes we got to be open and vulnerable. So here's what we've found that lands entrepreneurs in what I call the quicksand box of business excellence. It's a sandbox where entrepreneurs come to play called commerce or e-commerce. Okay. And as soon as you get in the box, the quicksand starts to seek you out. And if you're not aware and prepared, then before you know it, you're trapped. You can't move, and you feel like you're uncontrollably going down. Well, the way to reverse the effects of the quicksand box is first to uncover what the traps are. Notice them when they're in the vicinity, right? Or when you're in the middle of it, and understand their real world impact. So when it comes to staying on track with your business vision, one of the most important things that results in being lost, confused, and stuck is actual lack of clarity in what your big vision is. Okay. In our 5-day solution training, or what we used to call our 5-day challenge, we talk about the value and the importance of having a clearly defined vision. So when you don't, it's like going on a thrilling adventure, and you set your sails for the grand voyage, but because you don't know where you want to end up, you end up on a path filled with storms after storms after storms, flooded with uncertainty, sometimes going around in circles. And you end up meandering aimlessly. Or what's just as bad is starting off with what you thought was a clear vision, and then never revisiting, refining, or refreshing that vision, and then ending up at your destination only to find out that it's no longer what you truly wanted. Somewhere along the line it changed, but you didn't change the vision. Because on the journey, as an entrepreneur, change is inevitable. You will evolve one way or the other. And therefore, your vision will change and evolve too. And how that translates into the real world can be seen when we look at what happens to other businesses, hopefully before it happens to us. Now, anyone remember Kodak? Okay, right? If so, Kodak was the giant of traditional photography for many decades. Then their downfall came when the rise of digital photography showed up. They actually had the technological edge at the time, and they even held patents for digital imaging. So it's not like they didn't know the future was shifting towards digital, right? It's not like they weren't in the sandbox and they didn't see, the quicksand coming. In fact, they even developed some of the early digital cameras. So what happened? Well, this is where lack of clarity in their business vision got them trapped in the quicksand box. Their lack of well-defined long-term vision was one of their greatest missteps. And because of that, they didn't have a clear course for the transition into the digital age. They had all the makings to set the vision, but they just didn't chart a defined route to get there. So this lack of clarity led to confusion throughout the entire organization, and it made it challenging for employees to understand the direction of the company and where it was going. And as a result, Kodak missed out, right? They missed countless opportunities in the digital realm. They had patents for technologies that became the foundation of digital photography, but they didn't leverage them effectively. So in the end, right, their constantly shifting strategies coupled with their failure to set clear course left them stranded in the quicksand while other companies raced ahead in the digital photography revolution. So it's a classic example of how lack of clarity in business goals and the failure to adapt to changing environments can have significant impact on a big and established company's success, not to mention for the solopreneurs or the small or medium businesses, right? So this should be taken as a lesson for all entrepreneurs about the vital importance of setting and communicating clear business vision to guide you on the path to success. Now, another thing that haunts many entrepreneurs that even extends outside the business realm is the fear of the unknown, the fear of making mistakes, ultimately, the fear of failure. It's like a ball and chain, right? Keeping you locked into your comfort zone, afraid to break free and explore into uncharted territories. You know, I like to say it's like having a hot air balloon and you're afraid of it popping if you go too high. So you always keep it anchored to the ground. Well, what happens? Well, you never get to enjoy the breathtaking views from the sky. Right? Fear can be a powerful force. And it's perfectly normal. But when it takes the reins and paralyzes your decision making, it becomes a problem. Right? You're like a pilot who refuses to take off because they're afraid of turbulence. Well, that's just silly. Right? You never get anywhere. And this can really stifle the growth and evolution of a business, losing out on opportunities and getting complacent with the status quo or just surviving. Let me ask you, how many of you are happy with just paying your bills each month? Be honest, right? How many of you are just happy with getting those bills paid? Right? Making just enough to sustain your current lifestyle. Yet, there's a part of you that yearns to break through to the next level of business success. Right? But if we were to ask you, where are you stuck? Stuck or struggling on your path to your business vision? You say, I'm not struggling. I'm totally fine. I'm doing great. Right? For some of you, that may be true. But for most of you, do that inner work. Right? And explore the question that Ross asked in, I believe it was the last live stream. Are you happy in your life right now? Truly happy? And if the answer doesn't come up as an instant and resounding yes, well, then that's what's holding you back. You got to ask that question. What's holding you back from having more, from doing more, from being more? Many times it's the fear of failure, the unknown. It's like Yahoo, right? Remember Yahoo? Right? Yeah. That other search engine that we all used to use, right? Right? The one of the OGs of the internet, right? Even though they were pioneers on the web, right? You couldn't look anywhere and not see or hear about Yahoo this, Yahoo that, right? But they were shackled by the fear of failure and ended up in the quicksand box too, right? Did you know that they actually had the opportunity to acquire Google at one point?
For like $50,000 or something. It was like some stupid
Ridiculous, right? But they didn't seize the opportunity, right? The fear kept them stuck and indecisive while others just raced by them, Google being one of them, right? They didn't seize opportunities like acquiring Google when they had the chance. Their fear, whatever the fear was at the time, their fear kept them grounded while others soared. And so the fear of failure can be one of those invisible walls that Ross talked about that stands between you and the potential of your success. But the cool thing is that there are solutions to set yourself free from those fears. Okay, there are solutions. All right. We've shared many ways to hack the infinity matrix over the years to give you some of those tools. We've given you tools, lots of them in our 5-day free events. And for those who are interested, we'll also be giving you some amazing training on this in our upcoming masterclass. We haven't solidified the date yet, but it's called Get Wired for Success, right? It's an intense and powerful 3-hour masterclass, excuse me, to help you get wired with the psychology for 7-figure success, right? If you'd like to get notification on when we're doing that and how to get registered, just drop a hashtag Get Wired in the comments, and we'll circle back to send you a private message with the details. That's hashtag Get Wired, and we will come back and circle back to let you know when those details are solidified. Okay, to keep you in the loop. Now, let's talk about something we've all experienced at some point in our entrepreneurial journeys. All right, some of you are intimately dancing with it even now, and that is procrastination. Right? It's like a stealthy enemy that lurks in the shadows, right? I believe I talked about it in the last live stream as well. It's waiting to strike when you least expect it. The worst is when you do it so often that you actually do expect it. You proclaim it. You take ownership of the procrastination. Right? Procrastination is an art, absolutely, hands down. It's an art of putting off crucial tasks or decisions, sometimes indefinitely. It's like we're given the most exciting and potential-filled treasure map, but you leave it on your desk instead of using it to find the riches. Right? Often in business, it can seem like you're in a race. Right? Who's going to be the first out with this? Who's going to, get ahead here? I mean, it can seem that way, right? But instead of taking off from the starting line, procrastination keeps you adjusting your shoes, prepping your ready position, or getting distracted, and you never actually begin. Right? And there are many paths to procrastination, right? It's complicated for sure. There's many paths. It could be because of some of the fears that we just talked about, right? The fear of failure, unknown, those kinds of things. It could be that. It could be because of a lack of clarity in where you're going or what you need to do, right? It can also be because you haven't prepared yourself and developed the confidence in yourself to follow your passions and trust in your actions. Each one of us has a unique mixture of things that contribute to procrastinating and the why it's around, right? All of the whys around it. So instead of just trying to overcome procrastination, which is what people try to teach you and tell you to do, what you need to do is you need to look within to recognize what's activating that kind of response. Look at where do you do it? When do you do it? how specifically you procrastinate, and then get the help you need to deal with those things. What are the emotions that are triggering it? Because procrastination can leave your business stagnant, like a ship trapped in a windless sea. It can make even the most promising ventures miss out on exciting opportunities and growth. Again, we've shared lots of infinity hacks for this. And in the upcoming masterclass, Get Wired for Success, you'll get some more powerful ones there as well. Okay, we are shining light on some of the most common challenges entrepreneurs face on their journey to the vision. But the next two can be devastating. Okay, and they kind of work together. But and that is resistance to change and negative or limited mindset. Right? You ever go to the beach and stand in the shallow waters and feel the sand beneath your feet, right? It's moving. And then there's that point where the shifting tide keeps forcing you to keep your ground, like you have to really work at it, right? But instead of going with the flow, adapting in the moment and anticipating the waves, so you can enjoy playing wherever you want, instead of trying, you go against the current. And you insist that your tried and true methods are the only ways to do things, not able to pivot, despite changing market trends or new technologies, right? This is it's a representation of the resistance to change or negative or limited mindset, right? It's like using a horse-drawn carriage on a highway designated for sports cars, right? And, being resistant to change can shackle your business to outdated practices and even prevent you from harnessing new opportunities and innovation. Again, it's like Kodak, right? Resistance to embracing digital photography. Prime example. They had the technology, but resisted the inevitable shift, resulting in missed opportunities and eventually their demise. All right. And then coupled with negative or limited mindset, it can create a weight of self-doubt that drags you and holds you back consistently. And through pessimism, self-doubt, and constant negative self-talk, it will erode at your motivation and confidence. I often hear clients tell me that, they have this inner self-talk that keeps telling them that they'll fail, that they're not good enough, or that their ideas won't succeed, right? Anybody got those kind of stuff going on, right? We used to too, right? Until we started to work on changing the dynamics of it, so that those are the less type of messages instead of the majority, right? If at all. Right? So, telling yourself, or whatever, that little voice saying that you're going to fail, or that you're not good enough, or that your ideas won't succeed. When my clients first come to me, I ask them, what did you feel is holding you back? And they don't know, they're not certain. Or they say, well, I'm actually doing pretty good. I just want to get better. Well, if nothing's holding you back, then you wouldn't need the coaching. You wouldn't need this. You'd be just kind of coasting, right? There's always something that's holding us back from what we aspire to do. Otherwise, you wouldn't have aspirations, right? But this negative mindset is like entering a race with lead shoes instead of running shoes. I think it's because, we grow up in a society that tends to condition us to think that type of self-talk is the accepted norm, right? You kind of go around thinking that everybody has this kind of negative talk, right? Because you hear it or it's presented out there, right? So you don't think anything of it, right? Or feel that you can actually control or change it. but a negative mindset can cripple your entrepreneurial spirit. Right? It's like carrying a boulder while your competitors, who seem to be wired for success, are racing ahead with lightweight backpacks. Anybody ever feel that? Right? It's those kinds of things that can stop you from taking the risks, smart risks, right? And trying new strategies and ultimately achieving your goals. And then there's this character trait that so many entrepreneurs have that can have a ripple effect of stuck results, right? And that is the idea that you can or should do it alone, right? You think that you can run the ship solo and make the type of impact that will make a difference without ever seeking the wisdom and support of fellow entrepreneurs, mentors, and advisors, right? You got to go and do it on your own. And that's where networking and being a part of community is important. Right? And this can be, I think it's because, entrepreneurs are often celebrated for their independence and their self-reliance. Right? It's almost, it comes with the title almost, right? While they're admirable traits for sure, right? They can sometimes tip the scale towards isolation. And you end up it's feeling like you're an island unto yourself, being self-sufficient, but missing out on opportunities that come from connections and collaboration, right? Or, maybe you might be hesitant to seek help or share your challenges with others, fearing that it might show weakness or vulnerability, which, I talked about in the beginning. Right? Refusing to send out an SOS call in a storm, right? Thinking you can handle it, on your own. And this is why we started to host the virtual roundtable events, right? We saw that it was a needed thing. We needed a safe place where entrepreneurs can come together in collaboration instead of competition, right? Where we can have rich conversations and build relationships without the concern of being sold anything or being seen as just another prospect in the room. Okay, you ever been in one of those meetings where you just feel like you got a target on your back, right? Or your forehead, right? So if you're interested in joining our VRT events, right, a very safe environment, a very positive environment, drop hashtag VRT in the comments, hashtag VRT in the comments, and we'll send you the link to the RSVP, right? Because to keep the integrity of the group and the safe space that we've created, the VRT is by invitation only. So you need to RSVP to attend, right? We have one, like Ross said, starting at the top of the hour. If you want to join, you do have enough time to get in and join in on that. Or just RSVP and join us on the next available date when you go to the link.
Very cool. So as we dive into this topic, one that has touched all of us at some point in our lives, as Garry said, the feeling of being stuck is different for everyone. There's no one size fits all. It's malleable. It's the artist's clay. It's the painter's oils and the writer's words. So what causes that stuck feeling? Because it's not necessarily the stuck we're going to talk about, but rather the feelings that are involved with that stuck concept. After all, the most creative artist creates from the heart and from the soul, and they're throwing their emotions onto the canvas, into the clay, onto the typewriter or computer, word processor, whatever you want to call it, and such. But all of that is coming from those emotions. So if that's what they're using as a fuel, wouldn't you think that that's the same thing that could have the opposite effect on you? The feelings, what's inside. Many times we talk about the fear of failure. And yes, you guessed it, fear is an emotion. And this is a fear that many people have, and it can be especially paralyzing for us purpose-driven entrepreneurs, and for a number of reasons. because of all the social things that are happening out in the world. The modern overload of information confuses the mind into, I don't know which way to go. And so instead of taking a just thinking they're going to make a mistake, it just stops dead. Webster's dictionary defines stuck as being unable to move from a particular position or place, or being unable to change a situation. Remember this, my friends. Being stuck is not your destiny. It's a moment. It's a chapter. It's not the entire book of your life. Imagine that you can be unstuck by the end of this live stream. Gary and I speak about being caught up in the storm or stuck in the chaos all around you. We speak about staying in the eye of the storm, where your choices are unlimited. And here, in the calmness of the eye, stuck doesn't exist. And now we've spoken about some of the most successful and wealthy individuals in the world. And let me tell you a secret. Wealth doesn't change you. It amplifies you. If you're generous, you become more generous. If you're fearful, you become more fearful. It's a magnifying glass of your true self. And that's where self-confidence comes into play. That's the inner belief, that inner fire that propels you forward, that allows you to navigate through the storm of self-doubt and fear. But how do you ignite that fire, especially when you're feeling stuck? You start by acknowledging where you are. You see, you can't move forward if you're not honest about your starting point. And being stuck, feeling overwhelmed, well, it's a starting point. It's not your destination. So remember, you're not alone in this journey. We all, especially women, find ourselves comparing our past, our progress to others. It's a trap that can pull you down, but only if you let it. So let's make a pact right now. Let's lift each other up. Let's be the light in someone else's darkness. Let's be the force that propels them forward. And when life feels too much, when the demands are high and the energy is low, just remember this. You have the power to change your state, to change your story. You have the power to reach out, to ask for help, to be the help that someone else needs. That's what the virtual roundtable is all about. Beyonce said it beautifully. She goes, think like a queen. A queen is not afraid to fail. Failure is another stepping stone to greatness. So let's embrace our failures. Let's embrace our fears, and let's use them as the stepping stones to our own greatness. So now let's get practical, because I'm going to give you 5 steps that you can utilize right away to help you get unstuck and become mentally unstoppable. The first one is you want to acknowledge and accept, recognizing your feelings without judgment. Accept that it's okay to feel stuck and understand that it's part of the journey. It's not the destination. Now here, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest. Okay, and I think we talked about this in the last live stream, is that, a lot of people are saying, fake it till you make it and all this kind of stuff, but that creates this incoherence within. Because the subconscious mind, that is actually the part that's holding you stuck, knows that you're not telling the truth. And then you actually become even more stuck. So identify your fears. Write down what you're afraid of. No one else is going to see this. Be honest. So here's a really good question when you're writing this down. Are you afraid of failure? Or is it success that you're afraid of? Understanding your fears is the first step to conquering them. As I've said many, many times, if you can't track it, you can't manage it. And this is managing fear. So if you're not honest with yourself when you're making this list and such, then you're going after the wrong goal. Find it, dig deep. Don't spend 5 minutes doing this. You should spend 5 hours doing this. You should put this in your planner. I'm going to take this afternoon and I'm going to find out what the hell's in my way. Because I know it's there. I just have to be honest with myself to really discover. So the next one, set small, achievable goals. Break down those large objectives into smaller, manageable tasks. And you celebrate like you can't believe each small victory. And use those as stepping stones to get you to that bigger spot. Another process that we use in our 5-day program. It's life-changing. People have walked away going, I had no idea that just doing that would have such a release on it. Okay, so next, reach out. Reach out and connect with others. Again, why the virtual roundtable was created. To reach out and connect and talk to people that maybe have the answers, who have been there, who maybe have the solutions for you, or you can help brainstorm to find your answers or their answers, because there is nothing better as well to get you out of that stuck feeling as helping someone else. It doesn't have to be in a professional manner. It could be helping somebody cross the street, somebody carrying their groceries, opening the door for somebody. Each little piece compounds. It's that drop of rain that fills the ocean. It could be a friend, it could be a family member. Sometimes just talking about what you're going through can provide new perspectives and alleviate your burden. As well, the opposite applies to them. It applies to them. And you go, oh, that took me 5 minutes, to help that person. But man, I feel great. I feel a little bit more unstoppable. And then invest in yourself. Engage in activities that promote self-growth and build that confidence. Brick by brick, build the monument of you, of your life, of your legacy. This can be reading. It can be attending workshops, attending live streams. Simply dedicating time to nurture your mind and your body. Especially as entrepreneurs, we always seem to put ourselves last. But it doesn't have to be that way. You're doing what you're doing. No matter what it is that you're doing it for yourself. Ultimately, you are doing it for yourself. Now, you're saying, I want to help my community. I understand. And that is very noble. But ultimately, you're doing that because it's making you feel good. It's making you feel proud, making you feel responsible, making you feel empowered, making you feel unstoppable. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, as I said earlier, becoming mentally unstoppable is still a journey. It's not your destination. Stuck makes you feel like you've reached your destination because you don't have an exit plan. And then fear really sets in. And it's because you're afraid that any decision will be the wrong decision and you'll be stuck in this hell forever. Okay, give me an emoji if anybody's at one time or another felt like this. It's like, no, I can't go right, I can't go left, I can't go forward, I can't go backwards because that might be the wrong one and this might just get worse. And I'll tolerate this feeling that I have because I don't want it to get any worse. And that, especially at that moment, at that moment, is when you really need to reach out to someone. You really need to connect with somebody. Whether it be on the phone, virtually, ideally in person is awesome. You know, a cup of coffee at the bistro, glass of wine, whatever the case. Reach out. Okay? Because that hell being forever, it's a lie. It's not real. You can't see stuff. You can't smell stuff. You certainly can't touch it. It's about embracing a mindset that believes in growth, in evolution, and the boundless possibilities that lie within you. Imagine waking up every day with the belief that you can develop, that you can learn, that every challenge, every setback is merely another stepping stone, a learning opportunity on your path to greatness. Now, with all this resilience, well, that's the key. It's about looking failure in the eye and saying, you are not my end, but you may be a gateway to my beginning. It's about holding steadfast to your dreams and your goals, your vision, even when the tides are against you. And remember, every stumble, every fall is a lesson. It's a teacher in disguise, guiding you, molding you into the person that you are meant to become. Your higher self knows way more than you do. And it's always trying to communicate to you. Always. You just have to listen. Because it already knows the path. You know, while you're on this trip, don't forget to pause and to look around and be thankful, grateful. Because gratitude is not just a word, it's a powerful tool. I don't know how many live streams we've done about gratitude, but you need to go back on our YouTube channel and just type in Infinity Matrix gratitude. And there's a number of videos that we've already done on gratitude and how powerful it is. It's about appreciating the small wins, the little milestones that you cross. It's about basking in the joy of the present, the joy of the journey, and not just the destination. Hold on to your optimism. Let it be your guiding light. See challenges, they're not walls, they're stepping stones. Or they can be whatever you want, whatever works in your mindset. They're not there to stop you. Nothing is there to stop you, but rather to elevate you, to lift you higher towards your goals. And every challenge, it's an opportunity, a chance to learn, to grow, and to come out stronger on the other side. You know, I love that one quote from, I don't remember which Rocky movie it was, but you know, where he's talking to his son. He goes, it's not how hard you get hit, it's how fast you get up. That's resilience. And then we have our emotional intelligence, and that's your compass. It's about understanding yourself, diving deeper into your emotions, your strengths, your weaknesses, and navigating through them, not around them. You can navigate around them, they're just going to keep coming in your path because you're not learning. It's also about understanding others and connecting with them, as I said earlier, sharing their emotions and building bridges of empathy and compassion and understanding. Because many times by understanding others, you start to understand yourself more as well. And sometimes you see their vulnerability and you're like, I'm vulnerable like that too. And then you become more comfortable with yourself to be vulnerable, to be authentic. That's true connection. Let the world see you, the real you, with all your strengths, all your weaknesses, and your triumphs go along with that, and your failures. Remembering it's okay to seek help. It's okay to reach out, because asking for help, it's not a sign of weakness, but it's a testament of your strength. Imagine the transformation that awaits you. A life where problems become opportunities for solutions, where relationships are deep and meaningful, and where your mental and physical health are in harmony, propelling you forward towards not just success, but a life of fulfillment and satisfaction. They've always said it's not the destination, it's the journey, and this is it. It's that fulfillment. It's everything that creates that. That's what's building you. Envision yourself leading, inspiring, and becoming a beacon of positive change, not just in your life, but in the lives of every single soul you touch in some way, to some degree. So embark on this journey, embrace the growth and the resilience and the gratitude and the positivity and the emotional intelligence, and watch you become not just unstoppable, but unshakable, unbreakable, and unequivocally, undeniably you. And this is where you won't just find success. You'll find that fulfillment. You'll find happiness for sure, and joy, and that richness of a profoundly lived life. So with that in mind, we want to thank you for being here, for taking the journey with both of us. And remember, you have the power to change, to move, to grow. You are unstoppable. And let's do this together. So until next time, we all want to have you take care. Remember, live with passion.
Yes, and we also leave you with the challenge, the dare that we do every week, and that is to dare to be exceptional. We need more of your exceptionalness out there, and the only way to be exceptional is to implement what you learn and learn from what you implement. Don't just have this become another thing that you listen to, another thing you stack in your library of events that you attended, and be useless, right? So implement what you learn from what you implement. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week, or we'll see you on the virtual roundtable. Be well, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.